So building core strength can be a boring, can be a laborious, and can be a very tiring thing to do, especially if you're suffering with things like back pain at the time. So what are the best ways to go about doing that? Because I see a lot of different people have different views on this, and I want to explain my thoughts on what you should be doing and why you should be doing it, because there's one argument that says, hey, go do some specific strength work, and the other is just change your lifestyle. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If you're loving our videos though, please like and share our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest videos we post, and hopefully get this out to more and more people so that we can help people to take control of their lives and get health back on track. Okay, so let's talk about it, because we really have two different ways that we can approach core strengthening exercises, and that is we can change our lifestyle or we can undergo a specific strengthening program. Let's not get all scientific and all over the place in terms of what core strengthening is all about. It's very, very simple. Basically, it means putting a load through your core at some point in time, okay? There's tons of different ways you can do that, through things like sit-ups, through lifting your legs up, through even things like running and cycling will activate your core function as well. So anytime you put power output through one side of the body or through the upper or lower part of the body, you're going to need to contract your core to stabilize so you don't fall over or you don't break in half. So we can stimulate the core in a numerous number of different ways. So really what we want to look at is what's going to work for you. And this is really what it's all about. So let me explain a couple of differences. All right. So if we undergo some form of strengthening program, okay, so let's say we start a specific type of strengthening course of some sort to stimulate and develop strength within our core. A few things we tend to notice with that. The first one is that we get quite quick changes. Okay, so it can be surprising, but if you're doing it quite frequently, I'm not talking about a once a week type thing, I'm talking about several times a week. If you're doing it frequently, the changes you do get in your core can actually occur quite quickly. And it is much more targeted. In other words, we can specifically state we want to strengthen the right oblique, or we can say that we want to strengthen the rectus abdominis or the QL, whatever it may be. So we can be very, very targeted in our approach with the way we do things. However, one of the problems when we start looking at strengthening programs is that you're generating a level of strength that is not congruent with your lifestyle. In other words, you don't require that level of strength throughout your day. If you did require that level of strength throughout that day, you'd constantly be generating that yourself, stimulating it, and you wouldn't need this type of activity to begin with, okay? So this is a big, big problem, because what we often see is that people start strengthening programs for their back pain or neck pain or hip pain, things like this, groin pain, and they'll start this strengthening program, and then as they get into it, the pain settles down, they get the stability they want, which is fantastic, but then they go on holidays for 3 or 4 weeks, don't do it, the level of support or the level of stimulation they get to that core reduces down, and the strength comes down with it, and their problems start returning. So for some people, this isn't necessarily the best way to go from what we've seen. So if we can adjust our lifestyle so that you require to use the core all of the time, then you can actually stimulate that strength production yourself without needing to do external sources of strengthening. And we see this classically with things like cyclists and runners who are constantly using their core. They need that strength in order to stop themselves from falling off the bike, or they need that level of strength in order to keep their hips flexing as they run and as they move. So now all of a sudden these people don't necessarily need to undergo these strengthening programs simply because their lifestyle maintains that itself, okay? So there are some benefits to doing lifestyle work over strengthening work, and that is, the first one is that it's adapting. You're adapting your core now to your actual lifestyle requirements. And this is really, really important to understand, is that if you have a greater requirement for core strength, and I'm not just saying to relieve pain, I'm talking about in order to be able to exist, then you're going to constantly keep using it, and we get a general increase in our tone. For a lot of people, it's much more enjoyable. And that's a big thing. We want to make sure it's fun. So when we start talking about just doing strength work or going to a gym or something like that to do that core work over and over again, many people feel like they're just basically a trapped lion getting stuck in a cage and have to keep going back and back and back. Some people love it, some people don't love it at all, don't enjoy it at all. So if you can find an activity that you actually love, let's say you love cycling, let's say you love playing netball, whatever it may be, where you're actually developing strength through those processes, then this starts becoming something that you can incorporate in your life ongoing, that you'll have a lot of fun with, maybe have some social aspect to it as well, and then also maintain our core strength. So for a lot of people, having a lifestyle option of improving core function can actually be a lot more enjoyable than doing strength work. And the other thing is, it does seem to be much easier to maintain long term, and that is because it's just part of your life. If you get up and go for a run for half an hour every morning and you're enjoying that, it's just part of your life. So therefore, you maintain that ongoing because you tend to keep doing that exercise forever and ever and ever. Where if we're doing strengthening work to try and stabilize and build our core, one of the problems we have with that is that sometimes people get bored after a period of time. They get sick of going to the same place, doing the same thing over and over and over again, and the net result is they stop doing it. And once they stop doing it, they don't have a lifestyle that has that level of requirement for strength, and therefore they lose that core and it goes back to the way that it was. And this is one of the big aspects of this, it really does, the core strengthening program becomes part of your life. And this is a really, really big thing. So any exercise that you do that requires you to stabilize your stomach, and that could be rowing, it could be riding, it could be running, playing basketball, playing soccer, even playing football, any of these type of things that requires you to consistently contract your core will help strengthen your core musculature. And if you incorporate that into your life on a very regular basis, now all of a sudden you've got a way of maintaining your core going forward without needing to do the core strengthening exercises if you're one of those people that doesn't enjoy them. Anyway guys, that's a quick and brief summary between looking at strengthening specifically and altering your lifestyle to improve your core strength. If you have any questions at all, just post them up. Otherwise, email me, send me a message, whatever is easier for you, DM me or PM me. Always happy to help out. My team's always here for you guys in any way, shape or form we can. Until then, catch you in the next vid. Bye for now.